Hello there, I'm John, an osteopath. I'm here to show you a couple of stretches today for your neck and for your glutes. Now, I'm aiming this in particular at two of my clients. They've got a lot of stiffness in the scalene muscles from stress, from sitting at computers, things like that. And some of this also can be affected from running, funny enough. You see a lot of runners, when they run, their posture's not very good, and they let their head drop down as they run like this, and you see them actually using their heads to come down to try to elevate their ribs a bit more to get more air in their lungs, which is just very inefficient. Well, actually, they're trying to be more efficient, but it's actually not very good for the body. Sorry, I shouldn't say it's inefficient. What it is in the long term is inefficient because that will cause damage to your neck. So this is partly aimed at runners because also we're dealing with the glutes. Now, one thing you often see with a lot of runners are a lot of tight glutes, and what can happen is if you don't stretch enough, the buttocks and the glutes get tight, and as they get tight, they start to pull on other tissues. Of course, they pull on the back, they increase the arch of the lumbar spine, sometimes they pull on the thoracolumbar fascia, and the way the fascia works is that it goes from top to bottom, and it comes across, but also goes diagonally too. And those diagonal fibres often go into the trapezius muscles here. They go diagonally down the back, so imagine down the back here, through the latissimus dorsi under the arm here, and they cross over into the thoracolumbar fascia here, and they go into the glutes. So that's when you're running, you're pushing with your legs and your arms at the same time. So that's how these two work together. And sometimes if it's too tight here, it literally pulls all the way to the top of the trapezoid, and it'll pull you down and in this way. And then that'll further affect your breathing pattern, where your scalenes are getting really tight and everything's dropping down here. So we're going to aim today to stretch out the glutes and part of the trapezius with the cervical spine as well. Okay, so we're going to start off just on a table like this. Now you may want a pillow for your head, you may not, depends on how you feel. And we've done a lot of this kind of thing before, so forgive me if I'm repeating myself, but you want to pop yourself on your back, and there's two stretches you can try for the glutes. One is simply just to bring one leg across the body, place your hands on the back of the knee, pull the knee up towards you, and then pull the shoulders back and down. Okay, now if you notice, a lot of people just pull like that, and what they're doing is they're causing issues with the shoulders and the neck. And I've got a bit of a dodgy shoulder myself, so I don't want to irritate that. So I'm simply going to pull down and back to contract my shoulders together into the table beneath me. At the same time, my tummy is held in, just to protect my spine. It's just good practice as well to basically get that lumbar, the abdominal muscles, the transverse abdominals in particular, activated. Just keep doing that. So hold that there for 30 seconds if you can, and release. Bring the leg down one by one, and bring the other leg up across the body. Again, hands through the knee, pull down and back into the ground again. And again, hold that there for 30 seconds. Now, some of you may have a bit of trouble with this if you don't feel it. Maybe you'll need to go a little bit deeper. In particular, the piriformis muscle likes to be stretched a bit more, so we're going to bring the knee up like so, placing our hands around the knee or even underneath the knee if you have a knee problem. And simply pull, don't pull straight up, but pull across the body. So I'm going to be pulling my knee to my shoulder like this, in the same kind of way. So you pull it up, and then of course squeeze your shoulders together and pull down, and that will stretch your buttock deep inside. Very often it gets that piriformis a little bit harder than the other stretch does. And do that for 30 seconds and release. Bring the other leg up, again across the body, pull to the opposite knee and release. Now some people have issues with hip joints. It's just the way you're made sometimes. Obviously some other people have arthritic changes, so the hip joint can become compressed. So some of us have a thing called a cam impingement, where the angle of the hip bone is slightly different to other people. So as you bring your leg across the body to here, this actually clashes against the bone and can cause pain. So if that does happen, obviously this second stretch I've just done for your glutes is not for you, because all you're doing is pushing bone against bone, and that's just going to cause irritation. Okay, so please don't do that if that is an issue. There are ways to modify it, so you could simply just bring the leg up across the body like that. So not across, no, just up the body like that. Or you could go across the body, lower down at this position here, or laying on your back though, okay? But if none of those work, just stick to the first stretch we did, where your leg comes across the body and you're pulling up towards you that way, okay? But as with always with my stretches, hold them for about 30 seconds if you can, okay? Now the next area we're going to go to is going to work out on the body is the transversus abdominis. We're going to try and get this activated a little bit more. So I like to pop myself on my back, my knees bent, just to help encourage myself to relax a bit better. It's keeping the tummy tucked in nice and tightly without letting it go. Breathe in. So I feel my rib cage fill up there, in particular the lower part. So I like to put my hands on my rib cage like this and breathe out. I like to breathe in for a count of 5 and breathe out for a count of 5. All while keeping this nice and tight. Now I tend to find as I breathe out, if I contract this a little bit more, it helps to tighten it, because as I breathe in, sometimes it gets stretched here. So I may need just to tighten it again as I breathe out. But do this for a total of 12 breaths. That should take you 2 minutes to do if it's 5 seconds in and 5 seconds out. Okay, and it's very relaxing. It helps where you've just been working your glutes. It just helps you to for your mind to relax a bit more. Once you've done that, come and sit up. And we're now going to work on the neck. Okay, as we said before, the scalenes and the trapezius are a bit of an issue. Now, if you've seen some of my other videos, I've done this before, so we know. I'm just going to repeat myself a little bit. I like to stretch my neck using combined movements in particular. So I start off just simply by dropping my chin to my chest and looking up at the ceiling like that, and drop my chin to the chest and up at the ceiling. And maybe do about 10 of these nice and slowly. And as before, breathe out as you drop your head forward, and breathe in as you come back up again. So it's like a balloon. If you've got a balloon, you're blowing it upright, you fill up with air, and as the air comes out, it flops forward. Okay, and then almost visualize yourself flopping. Okay, you want that to flop so you're relaxed, because you don't want to be forcing your body to do things it doesn't want to do. All the while you're doing this, if you're in a sitting position, keep the tummy nice and tight. That's why we did the exercise just before then. Okay, because I don't want this getting too soft and flabby, and you just be sitting like that, and you won't be breathing properly. You won't be getting the air in your lungs as you should be doing so. So it's all about breathing function. Okay. So after you've done this to warm the neck up, okay, left and right, up and down a few times. We're then going to go left and right. Same thing. Breathe out as you turn your head to the side, and breathe in as you come back to the middle again. Ideally, take 5 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Repeat that on the other side again, and back to me again. Try and do it also with a mirror in front of you, so you can see the position of your neck. Now I've got a lot of tension on my right, so I tend to put my head to the right, or I tend to kind of rotate to the right too much. So try to watch yourself as you do it to make sure you're symmetrical on either side as much as you possibly can. Now once you've done that, okay, your neck should be sufficiently warm for you to start pushing it a bit harder. Now a lot of people like just roll their neck around. That's all very well, but if you're going straight for a big stretch like that, it can be too much. So the way I like to do it is I start with my head down, and as we start off, and I then gently roll my head to the side. So rather than go for a full side bend or a full rotation, I'm just going to roll it a little bit, okay? And I get to a point of tension, and that should be in particular the back of the neck here now, because my head is forward and to the side. That's the trapezius that are being affected, okay? And I just breathe with that as we did before. Now you don't have to do this for a count of 5, and then bring it straight back. You hold it for as long as you feel is necessary. Okay, so you just take it down, roll to the side, feel the change as you breathe in and breathe out. You move it a few times, and once you feel it releasing, then move on a little bit further, roll the head back round. So now we're going more to the side. So my head is kind of square on at this point. But if it causes compression, you can put your hand on your shoulder, pull down a bit more, and that'll actually stop you rolling quite so far. And then again, same thing, breathe in nice and slowly and deeply as you feel it relaxing the neck here, okay? Don't do it for too long, because these are small muscles and they don't like being overstretched, okay? So if you spend a minute doing one side, that's probably sufficient, okay? Then obviously the same thing on the other side, drop your chin forward, roll to the other side, find those tension points, pull down, breathe in deeply, and breathe out deeply. A couple of times to move a bit further round, breathe in deeply, and breathe out deeply. You can chuck your chin into your chest if you want to stretch a bit more. You can adapt as you go, put a bit of rotation through if you feel necessary, and then go back the way you can and back to the center. Okay, and that should give you a nice stretch on the back of the neck and on the side of the neck in two. Now you can go all the way around if you want to this point here, and you can start to get into the scalenes here as well. But notice this time around what I've done is I've gone backwards first and then I've rotated before I introduce the stretch into here as well. And same thing, you can pull down a bit here with your hand on the muscles on the side. And release it, back to the middle again, and then back, and a bit of rotation, and then pull down here if you can. If it's comfortable to do so. I don't have much tension on this side, but I do on this side. So everyone's different. You'll notice this when you do this yourself. You find one side is going to be tight in the front, and one side is going to be tight in the back, and that's very, very normal. Like I said, all these movements should be done very slowly and very carefully and deliberate, okay? I mean, this isn't anything that we haven't done before, and it's really straightforward stuff. You're just simply working in the plane of forward and backwards, left to right, and then you're putting rotation through. You've probably done that 100 times in exercise classes, but the key to this is how you do it. It's breathing out with emotion. So breathing out as you drop your head forward, breathing in as you come back up again, breathing out as you turn to the left, breathing in as you come back to the middle again. You're using your breath to assist your muscles when they're working, because these muscles here on the side, the scalenes, they are what we call respiratory muscles, okay? So you have to activate these correctly, okay? You don't want to be just breathing haphazardly as you move, because that's how injuries tend to happen, okay? So we're really focusing on getting these stretched out, using the power of breath to cause it to relax and to stretch safely, okay? But of course, like I said with all these things, if you start to get any pain, more than you normally would, if it's particularly sharp, then certainly stop doing this. Modify what you're doing, and if you can't modify it and it's still painful, then I suggest you stop and you rest until you're able to try this particular stretch. But this is a really good stretch to try, and I find it really beneficial, especially at the end of the day if you've been quite stressed out. Anyway, give those ones a try. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. Obviously, subscribe and like, as everyone on YouTube always says. Otherwise, you take care. See you in my next video.